Hey friends, do you see all this sun? I'm out in the sun again, sitting in my backyard in one of the garden beds. I got the chickens out free ranging. And for me, this time of year, the very biggest problem I have is I want to do all the things all at once. Like I've got 2 sunny days. It's supposed to rain for the next 2 days. We might even get snow on Friday still for a little bit. But I'm out in my backyard going, okay, how do I want every single thing to look? So you can't do that. Do not do that. I cannot put my entire garden back together in the middle of March. I gotta wait. So today I'm just working on compost in the chicken coop, and then I am going to plant some seeds over on that driveway side that we cleaned out the other day. And that's all I should do, because Rome was not built in a day, and neither was the Polish protege. What are you doing, Crow? So back in the chicken coop corner, I pulled all this chicken coop netting away, and I've kind of dismantled this corner. I had some blocks back here and some pots and things. I'm gonna get this all cleaned out. I've got an old wheelbarrow planter. That coop was up, that chicken coop netting was up for pretty much to keep the dogs out of the compost pile, not to keep the chickens contained. As you can see, they go wherever they want anyway. But what I did this morning is I came back here, and this is the kids' old sandbox, but I had that compost pile they've all knocked down. So I went ahead and filled a couple buckets with good compost to take out in the driveway with us for that project. And then I kind of just cleaned this area out. These 2 boards, this is my compost pile. It is a 3-corner permanent fence. And these 2 pieces of wood are just screwed in by my husband to keep the pile together as it grows. So today he's going to come out and unscrew those so I can rake that all down, take any good compost out, and put things that are still composting back in there. I know. And then in the chicken coop, hi Jane. Jane, I gave you a great female name, and you're just a big chicken. In the chicken coop, I opened up the whole thing. I'm letting it air out. And I went into here and I pulled out most of the pine shavings. Ooh, I echo now. So we've got just some linoleum down, and that is to keep the wood underneath from rotting. And it makes it easy to clean up. I got the 2 boxes. Ooh, the girls have been laying eggs already. I've got, this is a seed block. I think they call it a flock block. I just got it from Tractor Supply for the wintertime when it was really cold. They really didn't seem to care for it a whole bunch, but it's there if they need the extra protein. And I'm just taking a shovel and cleaning this all out. Over here too, this is where they sleep. You can tell it's much dirtier and damper. Because I use this deep litter method, I don't take this out and clean this out all winter long. I just let it pile up. And these, you can see how little they are, like just teeny tiny. Those were big pine shavings when they went in there, and they break down. And then what I do is I pull them all out of here and I put them down here on the ground. And then the chickens turn them in the rain and the weather, break them down even further. And then here, I'm gonna get really dirty. Ugh, there's a lot of leaf mulch right here. But when you get down underneath, you're gonna have beautiful compost. Oh, it's a little frozen still. That's as far as I can get right now. You're gonna have beautiful compost. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish cleaning this out a little bit. I'm gonna put a new thing of pine shavings up here. I am leaving some of these pine shavings here because the whole point of the deep litter method is to get living organisms breaking stuff down. So I do want to leave a little bit of that there to get kick-started on the next section. And then once I get all this compost cleaned out and reset, I will dig the bottom of this out and add it to my compost pile. So in the fall, it will all be ready with whatever's in the compost pile to top the beds off for the winter. Does that make sense? So every spring and fall, I do a huge clean out, let it sit until the following season, and then use it. All right, so that is mostly done. I need to get some new pine shavings in here and maybe rake this out a little bit. Look at that beautiful sunshine. Oh, this is all clean from yesterday. So I have got my little hand rake out here. I'm gonna pull out some buckets of compost. I'm gonna clean up that middle section and plant it, and I might plant some peas over here too. Let's see how far we get. Okay, look how pretty this is. So pretty. Oh, it looks fantastic. Nice and workable. This isn't even workable, so I can pick this up and hold it. It clumps apart. It's not a big soggy mess. I can get my fingers working in all of it. Good workable soil for early spring crops. Okay, I think what I've decided to do is plant radishes in a row in that big bed that I just filled with compost. These are the Malaga radishes. They are the Polish varieties. They say I should plant them 2 inches apart. They need 6 to 12 hours of sun, which is fine. This side of my house is the east side, so the sun rises, and as soon as it's over my neighbor's house, it gets sun till about 1 or 2 o'clock probably. Let's see here. Sprouts in 3 to 6 days. Seed depth is 1/4 of an inch, so not very hard. So let's go ahead and make a row about 2 inches apart and plant these seeds. Okay, here is a quick tip. This is something I learned from MI Gardener. Luke over at MI Gardener does a great job with how-to videos if you're new. I learned a lot from him when I first started gardening. What I'm going to do is these are 2-inch spacing, but you can do them offset. So I can do a row back here, and then I come back and I scooch over a bit and I do an offset row this way. That way this beet right here, or this radish right here, is 2 inches from here, 2 inches from here, 2 inches from here, 2 inches from here. So I can get a little bit more production in my garden than if I did them all kind of straight in a row. So I could do the same thing and make a 3rd row here if I wanted, and that might get me a whole extra row in here by using this offset method. Now I'm only going to do 2 rows because that's all the radishes I need, but that's a good little tip to give yourself a little bit extra planting space. So today I'm going to do spinach. So I did 2 offset rows back here of those Malaga radish, and then I am going to do 2 rows of spinach in front of that, and I plant my spinach a little bit different. I don't just make a little hole and make kind of a trench, and I'll show you that in here in a second. Okay, I'm going to take the back of my, first I went through and I patted the soil down kind of flat. Let me get any crap out of the way, and then I'm going to take the back of my thing and I'm just going to make a trench all the way down. And then I'm going to go back about, do you hear that noisy truck? This is part of living in the city. That is not even a noisy truck, with somebody's car that really needs some help. Okay, so I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go over a couple inches, and I'm going to pull this back and make another row. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of the times I use my spinach and my lettuce as cut and come again. So I plant them a little bit intensely because I just come in and I cut the tops off and I let them grow again until they're done. I don't usually come in and harvest my spinach all at one time. So For me, 2 rows works better, and I'm just going to take these spinach seeds and I'm just going to put them along every couple inches. I'm going to put a little grouping of them, and we'll see how that goes. Keep in mind, I am not a great spring gardener. I can grow things, but spring is not my best time. Into the Bloomsdale. So this 12-foot bed is radishes in 2 rows down the back. Whoops. Bloomsdale spinach, 2 rows down the front. I do have a little room on the ends here and here with this pile behind this pot where there's nothing. I could put some flowers in there, some pollinators. Okay, this is the awesome thing about urban gardening and space-saving gardening, or whatever you want to call it, that I do here. But this is my driveway. There's literally was no lawn here, no nothing here. This was a dead area of the house. And now, just by planting a tiny part of it so far, I've planted 68 radishes here and 2 12-foot rows of spinach. That's so much food from a place that was absolutely nothing 10 years ago. So these are those beds that yesterday I said I leave covered up. So see, here's my soil underneath, but I'm gonna pull all this back because I'm ready to plant here. If I wasn't gonna plant, I wouldn't be pulling it back yet. And these are mostly not broken down. If they were smaller, I would leave them alone, but because there's still a lot to break down, I'm gonna pull them out and I'm just gonna throw them in my compost pile. Okay, so I've got these beds cleared out. Now I've got 2 of these. I'm gonna do the exact same thing in both beds because I like symmetry. Little OCD, maybe. I'm gonna do kohlrabi seed. And this is the one I wanted to start from seed in the house, or start it in a cold frame container and didn't get to. Couldn't find my seed. But I'm gonna plant a row in the front of here. These would be fine outside. I also have a cold frame I can put on top of these too. And then on the trellis a little bit further back, I'm gonna put these sugar magnolia peas, which are beautiful. They can handle the cold, and by the time they start dying, I'll be able to put something else up here for like summertime. So I'll have cherry tomatoes on here. So these will be halfway up this trellis, in theory. Halfway up this trellis already by the time I plant my tomato seedlings kind of among them in the bottom. And then they'll just grow up right over top of the pea vines, in theory. This is all in theory, friends. Gardening, you never know. Every year, something I think is gonna work great bombs, and something I have no idea is gonna happen. It's beautiful, it happens. Okay, kohlrabi seeds are not very big. I'm not gonna go very deep on these. Just gonna drop, oops, I dropped 2 in. That's totally fine. I'm gonna cover it up. I'm gonna go over about 4 to 6 inches, and I am gonna do it again. If both of those end up coming up, what I'll have to do is either thin them out or take one really carefully out and find it a new home. Hello, little dude. Look, friends, my soil is alive. He might eat my plants, but the soil is alive. Okay, the sugar magnolia peas, I have made a trench right here. It's right underneath here. So they will go up and hopefully climb this rope trellis. And I'm just gonna lay them all out pretty close together because I want them to go up. We'll see how she goes. Okay, this bed is done for now. 1 roll of kohlrabi in the middle, in the front here. 1 roll of sugar magnolia peas behind. I'm gonna do the exact same thing in the matching bed on the other side. So my husband came out, and these are the 2 boards that were stacked in front of this compost pile. So now I've just got giant piles of compost, which is very interesting. Look at that compost down there. That's gonna be so, so good. Ugh. All right, but as you can see, on the top is all the stuff that's not broken down yet. So what I'm gonna do is take a shovel, I'm gonna tear it all down. I'm gonna put some chicken feed on it and let my chickens work it for a week or so. Okay, I'm out on the porch with my apprentice, Darlin Ava. Oops, sorry, baby girl. Oh, and we're just checking on the seedlings. These are the ones that were out all night last night. It was not too cold. It may have dipped just a little below 30, but not much. The artichokes don't look super happy. But everybody else does. And now that I've got them out here, this lettuce looks super happy. It looks way better out here than it was inside.
And this is our wall of fame.
The wall of fame. So, other than the artichokes, everything looks pretty good underneath there. The pansies and onions are just fine. Okay, so my girls tell them, and we are all done with outdoor projects for the day. We will be back tomorrow.